In today's video, we're building a super simple facial animation rig, perfect if you're just getting started for beginners. This is actually an update to one of my most popular tutorials, but I've made it even easier to use with more features. We're going to create a clean UI system that allows you to control both the eyes and the mouse. There's no shape keys or complex rigging needed, and if you like how it looks, I'm actually giving away these textures for completely free, but for now, let's dive in and get started. Now, the first thing we need to do is import all of our image textures for the eye. So I'm going to hit Shift-A, go to Image, Mesh Plane. Then I'm going to go to where I have all these image textures downloaded. Now you're going to notice that there's two category sequences here. There's an eye sequence and a mouth sequence. Now, these are the same exact eyes and mouth animations that I used for my short film Watermelon Girl. So if you like the look of the facial animations there, we're going to basically be building a similar system out here. You can download those files at a link in the description below. I'll also put a coupon down there where you can download the Crafty asset pack for 25% off as well. Diving in here, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, grab the eyes section here, and we're not going to check on detect image sequence. Instead, we're just going to import that image as a plane. That's going to put it in a top view, and we'll fix that in a second. But first, let's go ahead, add another image as a mesh plane here. Scroll down, and then we're just going to check that first mouth option. Now, I'm going to grab both of these, and I'm going to press R90X. What that's going to do is rotate those up on the X value. Now, if I switch to rendered view here, you can see that I have both of these options here, and that they're kind of blocking each other out. So let's go into the shader editor here. We'll begin making some changes here. So first thing I want to do is I want to offset these ever so slightly. So I will come up here to the location here, and I'm going to just shift this to like 0.001. And that's just going to make the mouth appear. And then that way we don't have any Z fighting. They're not fighting over each other. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the object properties tab here. I'm going to come down here to the shading and visibility. And what I'm going to do is turn off shadow. That way these aren't casting shadows and they're not going to kind of darken each other. So now we have a pretty good setup here. What we're going to do is grab both of these and just hit Control J. That's going to join them into one object. And then we're just going to call this facial rig. Now, later in the video, I'm going to show you how you can kind of attach this on a character like I have in the video here. Now, if you want to save time, skip this tutorial and just get the project files, check out my Patreon where I post project files, behind the scenes, and materials every single month. The thing is, I've been doing this for years, so there's hundreds of hours of content and project files and materials all just stacked up there over the years that you can get access to, including the project file from this tutorial as well. And it's a great way to support the channel. But let's get back to the video. But what we need to do to just prepare that is subdivide this a bit so that we can kind of mold this geometry around a character. So I'm going to switch into edit mode here, right click, hit subdivide, and I'm just going to bump this up maybe 2 or 3 times. Nothing too crazy. Now if I switch back out into object mode, I have a facial rig object here with a material that has 2 materials on it. It's going to put the image sequence numbers there at the end, so I'm just going to delete those. Now what we need to do is open each of these and import the entire image sequence. So I'm going to grab the mouth texture here, click open, and then here I'm going to just grab these and select all of those. And I need to change this from single image to image sequence, and I'm going to leave the frame at 1 and the start frame at 1. And that's because we're going to use this offset here to kind of control. Now there's 26 frames, but it starts at frame 0, so it will end at 25. As you see there, it goes purple afterwards. So we'll set this back to 0. I'm going to leave auto refresh checked on and make sure cyclic is checked off. Now we're going to do the same thing with the eyes here. Grab all of these eyes, change this to image sequence, and we can do the kind of same thing over here. Nice. Now let's look at how we can begin controlling these. So we will start here on the eye first. I'm going to grab the eye offset here, and I'm going to add a driver. Now what we're going to do is drag this up here. And in this view down here, we're going to add an armature single bone. Let's tab here into edit mode and let's name this bone eye. And we will grab the viewport up here and we're going to switch this over to drivers. Now with this shader selected over here, you'll see that we can twirl down and get this offset image here. Now we just need to add a simple control here so that we can control the offset value with the location of our bone here. Now I want to do it on the X location of the local bone. So what we will do is grab this offset driver up here, and we're just going to write a very simple driver. And we're going to do an integer here, and that's just going to prevent us from having those decimals kind of mess things up in between. And we're just going to make up a driver name. So by default, it goes to var, but I find that this sometimes causes glitches. So I'm just going to do xloc like that. And then we want to set it so that every time we move forward, let's say 0.1, we go up a frame. So to do that, we just need to divide this by 0.1. So do 0.1, close off that parenthesis there. And then we need to come down here, change this to xloc so that our variables match between the two. And then we're going to grab this armature here, which I've named face rig, and I'm going to choose the bone eyes. Now for the type, I want it to move on the X location, and I'm going to set the space to local space. Now when we grab this, you can see that it's moving our eyes every time we go 0.1. So if I go 0.2, you'll see over here that we get an offset of 2. But let's continue to improve this. First of all, right now if I grab the bone, it can move all over the place. So let's fix that. We can do that by just locking the transforms over here. We only need to move the X location of the bone. So with that bone selected, just go ahead and lock there. So now we can only move on the X location even when we press the G key, which is just convenient. Now we're going to come down here to the bone constraints, and we're going to come over here and do a limit location. We don't need to go below 0. As you see there, it's creating a purple effect on our mask because it has a missing texture. So let's lock it so that we don't ever get to that point. So we'll do a minimum of 0, and we're going to turn on effect transform. Without it on, I can still move past there, and you see how it's changing that. With effect transform on, it's a hard stop, so it never goes below 0. So then we need to go ahead and find the last frame, which since we have about 26 frames or 25 frames, it should be 2.5 is the max. So we'll go ahead here, go to the maximum X, and we're going to do 2.5. And that's just 25 times 0.1. So now what we can do is grab this, and you can see we can move back and forth, and we have a just kind of solid slider there. Well, let's go ahead here and let's adjust the visuals of the slider so they're a little bit easier to understand. Now for this next step, I recommend going to your preferences and searching for extra objects under your Git extensions and installing the extra curve and mesh objects. And that's because now when I come over here and hit Shift A, I can search here at the top. I'm going to look for a curve profile arrow here, and that's just going to add a arrow into my scene. Then what I can do is grab the armature here, go into pose mode, grab that bone. And what we're going to do with this bone is come down here to the bone properties tab, come to the viewport display, and we're going to choose that arrow as our custom object. And then we're going to turn on wireframe mode. You can see we have some ugly artifacts in there. So we'll come do some edits here on the arrow itself. We'll come under here under the data on the curve, and we're going to choose fill mode, change this to none. So now we have just an outline for our arrow bone, but it's pointing the wrong direction. And we also want the top of the bone to be the point of the arrow here. So here I am in top view of that arrow I created. And first thing I'm going to do is grab this arrow here, and I'm just going to move this down on the x-axis so that the origin is at the tip. So now this is the top of the bone, and then we need to rotate this so that it is facing the correct direction. So this is the top view, and this is the front view, and I want the arrow pointing this direction. So up here in the top view, I'll grab the 3D cursor. I'm going to rotate 90 degrees. So I'll hit R90 and then type the minus key, and that will turn that into a negative value there. Now, lastly, I can just press the S key, scale this down until I get this bone just a little bit smaller, something like that. I don't want it taking up too much space. Tab out here. We can hide this arrow here. And now when we grab our armature, we can see that we have an arrow bone that is pointing all along the way. So now what we're going to do is create a series of little ticks here that will let us know when we are moving to the next frame visually. So let's create a rectangle here. So I'm going to switch back out into object mode. I'm going to close that top view for now. And we're going to hit Shift A. We can just use a curve again. And this time we're going to use a rectangle. As you see, that will give us a square. I don't know why they call it a rectangle and then give you a square. Let's go ahead and change the height there to 3 meters and the width there to 1 meter. Now what we're going to do is take this in object mode, and I'm going to switch over here to side view here, and we're just going to rotate this 90 degrees and switch back into front view. So now we kind of have a little tick shape there. I'm going to change this fill mode to none, and then I'm just going to scale this down here. Now what I'm going to do is convert this to a mesh. Then I'm going to apply the rotation and scale. Now we can grab this simple little rectangle here. We're going to come over here to our modifiers panel and we're going to add an array modifier. Now we want this tick to be every 0.1 so that it matches our frame. So we'll uncheck relative offset. We'll uncheck on constant offset. Come down here to the distance x. We're going to type 0.1. And now each one of these is representative of our frame. We have 26 frames, so we'll change the count to 26 frames. And now when I grab this, switch into pose mode, you can see that every time I get into a center of another one here, that I have a pretty good representation of where my frames are. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and adjust the shape of these. So let's say that I just want to make this a little bit skinnier to make it more evident. Now we have a great just visual reference there for all of our frames. Now this is pretty simple just to duplicate and repeat for the mouth. So first what I want to do is grab the frame ref here, grab the armature, hit Control P, object, keep transform. Now when we move our armature around, we have everything there and we can keep our frame reference here. So we're going to make this super simple. Let's tab here into edit mode. We're going to duplicate this bone here. So I'm just going to hit Shift D and you see now I have the bone selected. If I switch into wireframe mode, there's two bones there. We're just going to leave that bone position right there for now. That's okay. And we're going to just have that bone selected and call this mouth bone. Now we can grab our texture here. We're going to come up here. We're going to come up to the driver editor window. And it's very similar here. All we're going to do is add a driver here. So if we come over here, we want to twirl down the mouth here. And if we click that, we can basically just copy the same setup over here. So I'm going to grab this expression here, copy this onto the mouth rig here. We'll change this to X load, and then we'll do the same thing. But this time when we grab the rig, we will select the mouth bone instead. Move this mouth bone. We can see that now we have one controlling the mouth and we have one controlling the eyes. But obviously these are overlapped and that's a bit inconvenient. So let's come over here to the bone properties tab with the mouth bone selected. And we're going to just rotate this bone here 180 degrees. Now we have a top bone here that controls the eyes, and we have a bottom bone here that controls the mouth. So I hope you found this useful for the facial rig. Lastly, I'm going to show you how you can go about just kind of shrink wrapping these faces to your character model. So it's pretty simple. We're just going to start by adding a sphere here, and we're just going to switch over here to solid view, and we're just going to pretend that the sphere is a character's face. So I'm just going to move this character's face back up here. I'm going to grab the facial rig here, going to come up to the modifier, and we're just going to search for a shrink wrap. Then I'm going to snap this onto the surface there. And the problem is that you see it immediately disappears. Now there's various snap modes here, and technically above surface should work. However, it usually doesn't for me. So normally I just leave it at the default on surface, and then I just shift the offset up ever so slightly. So I'm holding shift here over the number field. And now you can see that I have this attached to my character. And then I can just put this as part of my character rig or just parent it to my character rig. And now we can move this around and animate the face of our character.